This is a Hot Pie Media original.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the DNP-CD Sports podcast presented by Oddshark. I'm Chad Fisher alongside my co-host Tony Farmer. What's up, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing good. We got the NFL Week 1 so close, Chad. I can fucking taste it, man. I can't wait.
Oh, yeah, man. That's nice. I can't wait, dude. This is the best time of year.
Dude, the
got
number
college
one.
Football?
We've said that a couple times in the show.
Yeah.
This is a good time of year. This is a good time of year. This is truly,
Yeah,
I mean, the baseball playoffs are coming up. You got college football starting, NFL starting. I can't wait, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, man. Week 1 is going to be awesome. There's a lot of good matchups and everything, which we're going to go through here shortly as well.
It's a good slate.
Yeah, we got some other stuff we want to talk about as well. We doing Oddshark first?
Yeah, man. Let's do our promo and make sure people know what a good resource Oddshark is.
Yeah, Oddshark is your source for the latest odds from leading authorities, expert editorial content, the hottest sports news, and detailed matchup picks. Looking for statistics and trends for an upcoming game? Oddshark has that too, and it's free. In-depth expert analysis, odds, and trends to help you make the sharp game day picks. They've got decades of stats in their databases, and their insiders give you takes so hot they sizzle. They're your one-stop shop for all your odds info on sports and pop culture events. So if you want to get a better understanding of the odds and the math behind the numbers, how the line is set, why the lines move during the week on the NFL odds list, Oddshark will give you all the tools you need. They're a proven industry powerhouse. Oddshark has info from around the globe, giving you the chance to access the best sports odds on the planet. Whether you want to check out tonight's football odds, this week's hockey or basketball trends, or anything in between, head on over to Oddshark. Start thinking like a shark today. Go-to resource, man. This is where we're going to pull up a lot of our numbers on and everything.
Yeah.
And you want to go there to make sure you're getting the best number. A lot of people, if you don't understand what it is, they've got numbers from a ton of different betting sites, so at least 7 or 8. And you can compare and contrast the two. Make sure you're getting the best number. You want to make sure you make as much money as you possibly can, too.
And really, this week is probably the most important time, in my opinion, if you're an NFL bettor. These numbers are going to be changing pretty drastically throughout the week. You're going to see a lot of the totals moving. You're going to see a lot of the lines moving. And that's going to give you an indication of where the money is so far, who the public likes. And that's going to maybe help you dictate where you put your money down. So follow the money, as they say in the betting world. And you can do that on Oddshark.
Yeah, definitely, brother. Awesome resource, man. I go there all the time. I like to read their editorials and everything. They're talking about a boxing match coming up or UFC fight or something like that. You can go on there, get a little rundown of the history of the two fighters, how their styles match up, and how you want to bet.
Yeah, man, and they'll give you a lot of stats too. One of my favorite ones that they use a lot, and you'll hear me use it a lot on this show later too, when we're breaking things down, is ATS.
Yeah.
What's someone's record against the spread? You know, historically, how does a coach do week 1 against the spread, for instance? That's some really good information as a bettor for you to know. And so, they have a lot of stats like that can be helpful for you.
Yeah, definitely, brother. We want to talk about this high school in Ohio, man.
Shit.
Or maybe not really a high school.
Shit.
This shit's hilarious, man.
Yeah, so hopefully you've heard this story by now, folks. If you haven't, there is a fake high school that was made up. And these dudes were like older than high school age.
It's like a semi-pro team
I'm
from
guessing
Canton or some shit.
Like former high school players who still wish they could play football but aren't talented enough to play.
I know a lot of people like that, yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, we all know a lot of people like that, but they don't take the initiative.
Yeah.
I'll use a nice word and say the initiative to fucking create a fake school, Chad, and then get on ESPN.
I love how ESPN's blaming them too. Like they're like, oh, they totally fooled us and everything. It's like, why are you not vetting these sons of bitches, man? How do you? They told you they had so many ESPN 150 recruits, top 150 recruits. Hey, dude, guess what? You run ESPN. You can just check your damn database. It's right there. Everybody has this information available. And so, like, halfway through the game, they're down like 30-0, and they're like, I don't know if they're as good as we thought they were. Like, oh, you think? Dumbass. This coach over here got a dip in his mouth on the sideline, drinking orange juice, screwballs and shit. Like, come on, dog.
Dude, how embarrassing. So they had, I didn't read the story fully, Chad. You might have read it more than me. They had to have played a real high school team, I assume?
I guess, man. I don't know how you.
Because how bad is that if you're a bunch of older than high school people losing to high schoolers, or did they make a second fake team?
I don't know, dude.
Oh,
that's
man.
so interesting.
Now I got to read more about this story.
The quarterback was coming in drinking White Claw and shit. They was like, I don't know if this guy's really in high school. I don't know.
And then the coach has got warrants out for his arrest. I read that for like unrelated stuff.
Yeah, he about to be in jail this weekend.
Man.
That's messed up. Why would you do that too? What a dumbass on his part. I got warrants, so let me go get on national TV. They're like, hey, isn't that guy that's wanted for like not paying child support for 7 years or some shit? Whatever he did. Isn't that the guy that robbed that liquor store or something?
Yeah, just all over the TV.
Yeah. Well, we know where he's at now. Let's get down there. That's just hilarious, man.
Yeah, and then other hot news we heard recently: Cam Newton cut by the Patriots.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. I didn't see that coming.
That was a shocker.
I thought the Patriots were going to stick with him and try and maybe start him the first 3 or 4 games, and then when it was untenable, they would move on to Big Mac Jones. But
man. And Mac Jones has looked great in the preseason.
It's
just
crazy,
the preseason, but he's looked really good.
I might have to, no pun intended, Mac Jones. I might have to eat my words on this guy. He might not be Big Mac Jones anymore, man. That guy.
Yeah, when he's got like several Pro Bowls, he's going to be calling you up and be like, "Hey, Chad."
Yeah. No, I don't want to be on your show. And 2, here's a gift certificate for McDonald's, asshole.
Yeah, and if you're not sure what we're talking about, the early days, our first couple episodes, there was a few rips on Mac Jones. Mostly
we had Ben Albright on, right?
Yeah, I think it was the Ben Albright episode.
Yeah.
We took several. He was a pinata. Mac Jones was a pinata on that episode.
Dude, he's a dorky. I mean, I say this with glasses on and shit like a jackass, but he's just a dorky little dude, man, and everything. And he's just way too out of shape. Fool me once, but
this is pre-draft.
Yeah, he just looked way too doughy to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. But
true story.
Looks like I might be wrong. I mean, it's just preseason. We have no idea, but he looks pretty good so far, which is crazy.
So what do you think happened there with Cam Newton, and where do you think he could end up? One, I'm wondering if there was some tension between him and Bill because there was that whole like misunderstanding with the COVID test and all that, right?
Yeah.
It was like he technically didn't break league or team rules, but there was a misunderstanding and he got like, I think suspended from the team for a couple days and all this shit. So could tension have brewed out of that? I did see unsubstantiated rumors a couple days ago saying that there was tension between them. So that could have led to it, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's totally possible. He seems like a guy that, I mean, I don't even really understand how he got that opportunity in New England, especially after the year he had last year. I feel like the next move for him is a broadcast booth. I don't know where he's going to go, especially with all these teams. You got to be a superstar right now in order to not get vaccinated in the league, and he is not that. And so I feel like they're going to hang that over him. I mean, I don't know. Who's looking? I mean, I guess I could see like Miami or somebody like that taking him.
But I was thinking Atlanta. You know what I mean? Atlanta. Their backup right now is Josh Rosen, who's terrible. And it's kind of scary to think that guy's one injury away, behind an older quarterback, by the way, one injury away from getting in the game.
Yeah, I could see like Dallas maybe, but I heard that Jerry Jones is like 100% vaccinated. Who wants everyone to have, besides Dak? Unless you're Dak, you can do whatever the hell you want. But if you're like a third string safety, you better get vaccinated, asshole. Yeah. But who knows, man? I just don't know that he's an NFL caliber starting quarterback, and so it's going to be interesting to see what happens with him. I think he probably takes a year off. Maybe he gets somewhere if someone has a couple of injuries and they start to stack up.
Make some more workout videos. Make some more workout videos. That's what he does best.
He looks good in that shit, man. He's to be all pro last year until he got on the field, started throwing ducks and
got
shit.
Got like a fucking production team.
Yeah, dude.
Damn.
But he had a great career, man. But I think the next step for him is a sports booth,
Yeah, will his ego allow him to be a backup quarterback?
Yeah.
I mean, is he comfortable in that role?
I mean, I think he would have been this year no matter what, after a couple games anyway, once they realized that he wasn't going to cut it and wasn't going to take him to the playoffs. I feel like if you're New England, it's the right decision, man. You got to start moving on now. Get Mac Jones some live bullets, get him out there, throw him into the fire, see what he can do.
Yeah.
And hope that he continues to progress like he has in the preseason. But Cam Newton is not the quarterback of the future for that team or any team, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. And we are going to talk about that Patriots-Miami game. Really interesting game a little bit later in the show.
Yeah, and then one thing I wanted to do, this is something I've been wanting to do for a while on here, and we're going to talk about, we're going to do like a top 5 list real quick.
Like it.
All right, so I was thinking about this when you and I were talking about what we were going to do. I want to do top 5 sporting events. And this is something I've been thinking about a lot lately, over the last few months and everything like that, especially when we didn't have sports for so long. But I want to give out my top 5. And of course, I'm probably going to miss some shit, overlook some things. So feel free to argue with me on Twitter. You can guys drop us a line at DNP-CD Sports. Tell us what you think is your top 5 sporting events. My top 5, I'm going to go.
Criteria, in your opinion, based on what you enjoy the most.
What I enjoy the most.
Okay,
this is what I look forward to the most.
Cool,
okay.
cool.
Number 1 for me, even though it's probably not my favorite sport, is March Madness opening week. You know, we're saying event. So I guess I would say like the opening round, you know, the Thursday, Friday. I think they've switched it this year to like Tuesday, Wednesday, but normally that's on Thursday, Friday. Those are the 2 best days in sports, in my opinion, because if you live in the central time zone like us, you know, games start at 11 a.m. and they go until 11 p.m. at night. You got 2 straight days of that. That's the shit, man. It's awesome. You don't got to leave the couch. You're just sitting there chilling. Number 2 for me, although it's also not my favorite sport, the Super Bowl, of course. Awesome event. You look forward to it every year, no matter who's in it. You want to see who's going to win that. Amazing pageantry. The halftime shows, it's always like a prelude to how the Illuminati is going to kill us this year and everything. You know what I'm saying? They just like leave some little breadcrumbs in their halftime shows. That's awesome. Like, oh, is this how it's going to happen? Oh yeah. Like you look at the Olympic ceremonies a few years ago. There's all those like weird, you know, people in hospital beds with masks on and stuff. Weird shit, man.
Very
you know what I'm
odd. Yeah.
So another great reason to watch the Super Bowl. You get a little ahead of the game. You find out how they're going to kill you this year. Maybe take, you know, a little extra precaution and everything like that, because they're right out front with that shit on the Super Bowl halftime show. Tim McGraw's singing about goddamn COVID hospital beds 10 years before it happens. You're like, what the hell's going on? Either Tim McGraw, you know, bought stock in Pfizer or something. I don't know. But yeah, so number 2 is the Super Bowl. Number 3 for me is the NBA Finals, man. Love the NBA Finals. It's actually, my bad. I want to switch 2 of these now that I'm thinking about it. Number 3 for me is going to be college football opening week, which we just had, you know, once we taped this. Anyways,
the whole week 0 or week 1?
Week 1. Okay. You know what I mean? Because you haven't had college football so long, even though it's predetermined pretty much who's going to win it this year, you know, it's still a great weekend because it's like the end of the summer, the fall start to turn, and you live in Austin. If you live in Texas, the weather started to turn a little bit. It's still hot as shit for the next, you know, 2 months basically, but it's not as hot. It's not 105 and everything. But
and there's so many games. I mean, with the things that you've mentioned so far, March Madness is great, but it's limited because, you know, the tournament can only hold so many teams. You got the NIT, whatever. Yeah. But there's so many games going on for college football. Yeah. And that is pretty exciting.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna go for NBA Finals. I love the NBA Finals. It's you know, 7 games, man. It's awesome. It's just, you get to overreact every game and everything like that. It's not really, it's like game 3 or 4. We start to realize like who's separating themselves from the other team and everything. I thought the NBA Finals were really good this year. And then number 5 for me, which is crazy, still not my favorite sport, but the World Series, man. I love the World Series. I know it's, you know, potentially 7 games. It's not exactly an event, but that's you know what I'm saying, I love that time of year. It's, you know, fall time, you know, baseball's been going on for 6 months or whatever, but every pitch matters in the World Series. You know, you're hanging on by, you know, by every single pitch. You wonder what's going to happen. The game could turn so quickly and everything is that much more heightened. And so I love the World Series, man. But
nice.
Typically my favorite sport is college football. It's kind of been sullied in the last few years because Michigan hasn't been great. And then we already know it's, you know, who's going to be in the last 4 teams in the college football playoff. That's kind of annoying, but that's when you know, it's a nice time, man. It's a nice, beautiful time of year.
For sure, dude. All right, my top 5 list. Number 1, it's actually this weekend, man. And this isn't recency bias because this is like on my mind right now. Yeah. Week 1 of the NFL season. That's Sunday. That is my favorite day. Fuck top 5 list of sports. This is my favorite day of the year. Yeah. Bigger than my birthday, bigger than Christmas. Yeah. I absolutely love it. There's just so much uncertainty. New head coaches. How are the rookies going to do? How are, you know, just all this speculation that's been happening all offseason. Yeah. And it's just an exciting day. Man, I go every year out to Vegas. I'm going again this year, watching the game in the sports books out there, and there's nothing
chasing
better,
some
man.
cocktail waitress around and shit.
No
hey
comment.
girl, I took the Bengals +7. Come get some of this.
It's beautiful, man. You got all these games going on at once. You know, you're watching your game, and all of a sudden the whole, you know, room starts to roar, and you're like looking around at the TVs. Oh shit, there's something big going on over there. It's just so exciting, man. I absolutely love it. Number 2 for me, I think this is going to surprise you a little bit, Chad. The Daytona 500.
Oh, Jesus, dude.
Yeah, I know that kind of got you out of left field, man.
That's crazy.
It is a fun event. Now, there's a couple reasons why it's on my list. One, it's happening shortly after the Super Bowl when, like, I'm hungry for something.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because I need my fix because the football season has just ended. Two, it's kind of cool how their biggest event of the year is at the start of the season, you know? And kind of like how you mentioned every pitch matters in baseball, you're on the edge of your seat. With the Daytona 500, they talk about the big one. At any fucking moment, 27 cars could be out of it. And you're kind of just waiting for that to happen. And you start to see the cars get a little close to each other and you wonder if that's about to start the big one. For betting purposes, I mean, you know, they've got matchup bets of this driver versus this driver. And then all of a sudden, you know, there's a 27 car wreck. That can be pretty damn exciting, man. And just the history and the lore with that race. It's a lot of fun for me, man. I really, really enjoy it.
I've never watched a NASCAR race in my life.
Oh, this February, man.
No, I'm good, dog. I'm good. I don't know. No, I'm going to sit that one out. I'm good. If I want to see some cars racing, man, I go down to I-35 and sit on one of the overpasses or some shit, man.
Oh, that's so disrespectful to auto racing.
Dog, I'm sorry, man.
It's so disrespectful,
not my thing.
man.
I got to ask you, do you think auto racers are athletes?
No, I don't think
it doesn't take athletic ability, really.
It's tough. Like, how do you define athletic ability? It's not easy to do.
It's a skill.
It doesn't necessarily take strength. It doesn't necessarily take athleticism, but it is a big time skill. So I respect the hell out of them, even though I wouldn't necessarily call them athletes.
Most race car drivers are like smaller than jockeys and shit, right? Aren't these dudes like 4'11"?
They're all different sizes. They come in all different shapes. There's some big dudes too that barely fit in the cars.
Oh, wow.
So it depends. All right, number 3 for me, I'm gonna go World Series. Number 3 for the same exact reasons that you mentioned, man. Playoff baseball is just special, especially some of those low scoring games, and when you might have 1-0, and sacrifice flies and shit. Yeah, man, that's a lot of fun. Playoff baseball. I'm gonna go World Series Super Bowl number 4 for sure. When your team's in it, there's nothing like it. I mean, if I knew my team was going to be in the Super Bowl every year, that would be at the top of my list. But it can be a little lackluster when your team's not in it. The prop betting for the Super Bowl is just magnificent. You know, will this running back have more or less yards than this? The touchdown props. I mean, there's just so much betting going on for the Super Bowl, and it's a lot of fun. You can make some good money on the Super Bowl.
I'm surprised that's so far down on your list. That the World Series is above the Super Bowl.
Yeah, man. I
and the Daytona 500.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
Damn.
Yeah, I know.
I'm gonna start calling you Cletus.
But week 1.
Oh, Cletus Farmer over here loves the Daytona 500. That's how he picks up women and shit.
But week 1, man, there's nothing better than that. And then number 5 for me, I'll go March Madness number 5.
Okay.
And I appreciate March Madness. Just growing up, I was never as big of a college basketball fan as I was with really any pro sport. But I do appreciate the betting. I do appreciate filling out the brackets. Obviously, a lot of fun.
Oh, that's
an exciting
that's
time
one
of
of
year.
my favorite times of year is filling out that bracket on Sunday,
absolutely.
man. You get that nice crispy bracket, you start going through it. That's one of my favorite things to do in sports is to go through that.
And the selection show where you're finding out where everybody's ranked. I mean, that's a lot of fun.
It's like
too.
rapid fire. It's rapid fire. It's just like bang, bang, bang. Dude, it's awesome. Yeah. It's
the Cinderella stories.
Yeah.
Man, we're talking about it now. I might want to move it more up my list.
Yeah, dude.
Man.
I know, man.
I might want to move it more up my list.
But shit.
Yeah, for sure. So that
it's
was
a good
fun,
top 5, man. It's a good top 5.
We'll post those to social media and see what other people think about those top 5 lists. I know I'm going to get shit for the Daytona 500 number 2. I'm expecting that.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. Besides, a bunch of hillbillies ain't gonna say anything, but regular people might. Can't believe the Daytona 500. That's hilarious, man.
Dude, it's a lot of fun. Hey, in my defense, you've never watched it.
Because I don't find that shit interesting, man.
How can you talk shit about something that you've never tried?
Who the fuck wants to watch cars going around in circles, dude?
You've never seen it.
Oh, wow, this one got in front of the other one. Whoa, holy shit, that one's in front of the other one?
You can't make fun of something you've never watched. You've never given it a try.
I can't believe that car is in front of that one. That's blowing my fucking mind. How did he do that?
Have you ever tried a new food?
He went faster than the other dude. Oh, shit. Whoa, dude.
Have you ever tried a new food and been pleasantly surprised?
I'll eat hamburgers and hot dogs. That's the only thing I eat. I don't fuck around.
You're impossible. You're impossible.
I had a salad in 13 years, man. I'm going to Wendy's right after this shit. I don't give a fuck. No, man. To each their own, man. You know what I'm saying? That's awesome. That's cool. At least you're different. If you just said some shit like cornhole, I'm like, you and Tim Tebow need to hang out. You know, fucking get with that man. Yeah, he's gonna be the professional, the OG cornholer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Before we get into the second half of the week one, you want to do the BetterHelp? Let's talk about them.
Yeah, let's talk about BetterHelp. One of our new favorite sponsors.
Yeah, our new favorite sponsors, man. We're super proud to announce that the DNP-CD Sports podcast is now sponsored by BetterHelp. That's Better HELP. Is there something interfering with your happiness or is preventing you from achieving your goals? I know since I've been going to therapy, man, I feel so much more confident. One thing you do realize when you open up about these things and start to tell people, you realize a lot of people are going to therapy, and it's no longer taboo to talk about, man. You work out, you eat healthy, you need to take care of your mental as well. You know what I'm saying? You want to take care of your mind. You want to make sure you're going in and getting checkups. You're talking to somebody. You're going through your problems, because this is something that a lot of people don't think about. They want to take care. They want to lift weights. They want to bench press. They want to run, but you don't realize that your mental health is just as important. BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist. You can start communicating in under 48 hours. That's it. It's not a crisis line. It's not self-help. It is professional therapy done securely online.
Yeah, man. And what's cool about BetterHelp is you can go on their website, betterhelp.com, and you can actually read reviews from real people like you who tried it out. Whenever I buy a product, whenever I buy a service, I want to make sure and hear from actual people. So here's a couple. I'm going to read them to you now, actually. I've got one that says, Chris has been a wonderful voice of reason during a very hard time during my life. I've enjoyed our talks. I've grown, and I think he's in the proper field because he's great at what he does. Got another one here that says, Elmer has good insights, and it definitely feels like he listens, supports me, and has my best interests in mind. Would highly recommend. So you guys can go to betterhelp.com /DNP-CD, and you can get 10% off your counseling sessions. It's awesome because there's no waiting room involved. You can do this 24 hours a day. You can reach out to your counselor via text. You can have a FaceTime message with them. You can do it over the phone. Really, whatever you're most comfortable with. And like I said, you can avoid those waiting rooms. It's a great service.
Yeah, that's probably one of the only things I don't like about going to my therapist is driving there and everything. You know what I'm saying? You like to be with BetterHelp. You can do this all from the privacy and comfort of your own home. You be sitting around eating some Cheetos, man, drinking some Kool-Aid. Work on your mental health. It's awesome, man. It's the best. You
need a little support after the Cleveland Browns lose.
Yeah, you might need to. I want to text your therapist like, "Hey, man, we were 6.5 point favorites. We lost by 3.
My remote is smashed.
I'm a little depressed." He's like, "Listen, take 2 deep breaths.
There you go.
There you go. This is how they
coping
get it done.
mechanisms."
Yeah, exactly. BetterHelp is committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches, so they make it easy and free to change therapists if needed. It's more affordable than traditional offline therapy, and financial aid is available. BetterHelp wants you to start living a happier life today. That's betterhelp.com. And we got a special offer for people as well.
Yeah, 10% off. BetterHelp.com /DNP-CD.
It's actually just DNP.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Shit.
We ain't going to get no money from this. But yeah, in fact, so many people have been using BetterHelp that they are recruiting additional therapists in all 50 states. And we have a special offer for our listeners. You can get 10% off your first month at BetterHelp. That's HELP.com /DNP. Did not play. Go there. You get 10% off your first month. That's an awesome deal, man. And makes it even more affordable. It's already more affordable than traditional therapy. Driving somewhere, waiting in a waiting room. You got to see all these goofy people and stuff. Like, I wonder what's wrong with him. You know, when you're sitting there, you're like, you have to trying to analyze someone while you're sitting across from them and everything like that. No, you can just do this at the crib, man. You don't got to go anywhere. So make sure you go to BetterHelp. That's HELP.com /DNP for 10% off your first month. And with that, let's get into the second half. We did the first half last week. If you didn't hear that, go back and listen to the last episode. We did the first half of the week 1 NFL playoff, or excuse me, week 1 NFL season. Now we're going to do the second half of it.
Yeah, so to kind of recap, the games that we covered last week's episode were Dallas at Tampa, Jags at Houston, Philly at Atlanta, Pittsburgh at Buffalo, Minnesota at Cincy, San Francisco at Detroit, Chicago at Rams. So if you're wanting to hear about one of those games, stop and then go listen to last week's episode. All the other ones we're going to cover today, and we'll start with Indy at Seattle, right?
Yeah, definitely, man. Who you liking in that matchup?
I'm kind of leaning.
It's Seattle at Indy.
Thank you. Seattle at Indy. I'm kind of leaning toward Indy. I'm probably not going to make a bet on this pre-flop. If anything, I might do a little in-game betting on this. I want to kind of see how the Colts offensive line matches up against Seattle's defensive line. I think they're going to do well, but I kind of want to see it before I put my money down. Then Carson Wentz, how healthy is he going to be?
Is he going to play even, And I'm kind of surprised that the line is so low. Yeah, -2.5 for Indy and all the way down to -1.5. I was surprised. I was surprised that was so low. I thought it would be a little bit higher. Seattle's been proven. Indianapolis got a new quarterback who we don't even know who's going to play, whether or not. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. I'm going to take Seattle in the points. I think they're going to cover that.
Yeah, I like Indy here. I think the Colts defense is underrated. They were a top defense last year, scoring wise at least. They're returning 9 guys who started at least 8 games for them. And so the defense is intact. Again, if the Colts are starting a backup quarterback or if Wentz isn't healthy, which is why I hesitate to bet pre-flop on this, I want to see him throw the ball well before I put my money down. So again, it's a Colts lean, but I'm not feeling super strong about it. I do think that Seattle's overrated. I think sometimes when you got a team like Seattle who's been historically dominant, people see that name, Seahawks, and they get excited.
They've been consistent, though, is what I would say. They've been consistently decent. And like I said, I'm surprised that that's so low. We don't know what's going to happen with Indianapolis. I'm sorry, what were you going to say there? Brother?
Yeah, I mean, Seattle, I think Seattle might be on a downswing, man. Their pass defense, a lot of people don't know this, their pass defense ranked 31st in the year, 31st in the league last year.
Yeah.
One of the worst pass defenses.
They're paying safeties a lot of money there, too, which is crazy.
Yeah.
They got a lot of money tied up in safeties there.
Yeah.
You mentioned Indianapolis and how good their defense was. They also added Kwity Paye, a first-round draft pick out of the University of Michigan. Very high upside type of player there. Who I feel like will probably do pretty good in Indianapolis.
And look good in the preseason, too, for sure. But again, I think Seattle's on the downswing. There's no more of this Legion of the Boom. It doesn't exist. And I know this game's on the road, but their home dominance doesn't exist anymore. Yeah. They're not like that same Seattle team that we all have in our mind. And so I think they're overrated. Again, I like Indy leaning that way, but I want to see some action in the first quarter first before I place my bet.
Yeah, I don't blame you, brother. And let's go on to the next game. We got the LA Chargers at the Washington football team. Our buddy Austin Eckler is going to be out there. I predict a big season for him. He looks locked in. We follow him on Twitter and Instagram, and he says he's healthy. He looks healthy, and he's been ranked pretty highly in the offseason. It looks like he's going to come back at full strength, and if he does, he is such a dynamic running back in that backfield there with Justin Herbert. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's kind of like a Alvin Kamara type, you know what I mean? And I feel like he could be, just as good. That guy's got just as good a skill set. We're going to see how good of a year he's going to have. I think that this year we're going to see like the best version of Austin Eckler that we've seen. We're not just saying that because he's a friend of the show. We love the guy and we're rooting for him big time, but I feel like he's going to be a big X factor for that team, man. And if they're going to go far, which I could see them winning their division, dude, I really could. I know it sounds crazy, but I think the Chiefs are going to take a step back this year. I think this is going to be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, I don't disagree with anything you said there. I actually like both of these teams a lot long-term for the season. A couple interesting trends in this series. Historically, the favorites are 5-0-1 the last 6 times that they've played against the spread. And then Washington was 9-6-2 against the spread last year.
Oh, so wow.
That's a good team. And you got to like Ron Rivera, man. They've got a really good head coach. I think a very underrated head coach here. I also like the under here, 45.5. I think both defenses are underrated. People are starting to recognize Washington as one of the better defenses in the league, but I think it's still underrated. That defensive line with all those first-round picks is pretty impressive. And I think the Fitzmagic hype is gonna have this game end with an inflated line. And I think that you can make some money on the under here for sure. Chargers revamped their offensive line, and they're going to be tested against Washington. But I think that they're up for that test for sure.
Yeah, what's interesting on OddsShark, if you go to oddshark.com, that's where we're getting these numbers from. Across the 7 different sites they have on there, they all have the exact same number. It's all Chargers -1, which is interesting. That's kind of like a pick'em game there. You usually typically get 3 points for being at home. And so I'm going to take the Chargers with that one, man. I think that Justin Herbert's going to have a hell of a year again this year. I feel like they added some offensive line help there. Austin Eckler's going to be back healthy. I think that they're going to be one of my dark horses for this season, man. I could see them they're at least. I'm going to go out on a limb and say they're making the playoffs this year, and I would not be surprised one bit they end up winning that division.
Yeah, I like the Chargers with that spread. If I'm going to take Washington, maybe a 6.5 point teaser, because I do think this game's going to be close. If I do a 6.5 point teaser, that gives me a 7.5 point buffer to work with there. I think that's worth considering because I'm quite convinced Washington's not going to get blown out with that defense.
And just real quick, Tony, just for people that aren't really familiar with betting, can you explain quickly what a teaser is?
Yeah, absolutely, man. So a teaser, you can do a 6 point teaser, 6.5 point teaser, or 7 point teaser. Obviously, the more points you're getting, the less the payout is going to be, and you can just add 6 points to any point spread.
Points, basically.
Exactly, but this is the downside. You have to pair it with another game, and so you couldn't just do what I said. Washington, add 6.5 points, have them 7.5, and bet on it like that. You've got to pair it with another game. So last week, an example of that, a recommended pairing would be Dallas and Tampa. And so you could get Tampa from -8 down to -2. Now you just need the Bucs to win by 2 and the Washington not to lose by more than 7.5, and that's going to pay about even money at that point.
Okay.
And so it's kind of a nice tool to use, and I especially like to use it to go through the numbers 3 and 7.
Yeah. And so you're taking Washington in that game?
I mean,
Washington the points?
No, I think it's a good idea to consider teasing that.
Okay.
But with that -1 point spread, absolutely, I'm on the Chargers there.
Yeah.
I really think Anthony Lynn is a terrible head coach. I really do.
Wow.
I mean, the Chargers lost 6 games by 7 or fewer points last year. There's a reason. We just talked about Seattle.
I like that guy, but yeah, you might be right.
I mean, he's a good guy.
Yeah,
I
like
likable.
him on Hard Knocks. But
he's likable. But when you lose 6 games by 7 or fewer points, there's a reason that Seattle seems to win their close games.
Mm-hmm.
And the Chargers have seemed to lose them in the past. And then they had 2 games last year where they blew double-digit leads.
Yeah.
I've got to blame the head coach for that.
Yeah, that's
I've got to blame the head coach for that. So, so now he's gone. I think he's in Detroit now, actually.
Is he?
I'm pretty sure he's the offensive coordinator in Detroit, but I could be mistaken on that. But anyways, he's gone. I think that's going to help the Chargers develop for sure. Get some wins in close games.
Yeah, I think they're going to be a good team this year, man, for sure. And then who we got next?
We got Jets and Carolina. This is interesting. This is
going to be an interesting game. Yeah.
The Sam Darnold Bowl.
Yeah. Don't really know what to expect from either of these teams because they both got new quarterbacks. Obviously, the New York Jets went out and was it the third? Was that the third pick or fourth?
Jets were second pick.
My bad. Zach Wilson went number 2.
Yep.
To the Jets, and it's going to be interesting to see how he measures up. And then you got Sam Darnold. Those two teams. Darnold went from the Jets to Carolina, and he's going to be facing his old team in the first game of the season this year. And who do you like in that game there, brother?
I'm going to actually lean Jets with the points.
Oh, wow.
It opened up at 4.5. It's moved to 5. I could see this being another close game. Jets new coach Robert Saleh, old 49ers defensive coordinator, when he played the Jets last year, Darnold was kind of lackluster. 21 of 32, 179 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. 179 yards on 32 attempts is not too impressive. When Darnold played the Seattle defense, which is really similar to that Gus Bradley style that the 49ers run and that Seattle runs, that the Chargers run. He struggled, 14 of 26, 132 yards. And so I just don't think this is a good spot for Darnold. I do think, Carolina, might win a close one here. Wouldn't be surprised, but I'm going to take Jets in the points, and I'm going to feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, if you go to oddshark.com, they're anywhere. I mean, they opened at the Panthers opened at 4.5 point favorites. And that's anywhere from 4.5 all the way down to 4 on my bookie and -5 on a couple other sites there as well.
Yeah, man. When I do my handicapping, I do build in a point or a 1.5 for what I call the revenge factor. Yeah. I think that is a real thing. I think that Darnold's going to be a little extra motivated in that game for sure. He's got to be. And so, that's something to keep an eye on as well.
Yeah, and let's get to one of the marquee matchups of week 1 that I think a lot of people are excited about, especially myself. Cleveland at Kansas City.
Yeah, and this is another revenge factor game because Kansas City ended Cleveland's season. So
some pretty controversial fashion as well. There's a couple plays in that game that I felt like were terrible calls. And so I'm not going to say we were a better team. I don't think we were a better team than Kansas City. But Patrick Mahomes, we were able to kind of rough him up a little bit. That's part of the game, man. Injuries, being able to stay on the field is part of the game. And I felt like we should have won that game, to be honest with you. But Kansas City's a 5.5 point favorite. They opened at 5.5. It's pretty much 6 across the board right now, which is pretty interesting to me, man, because that's a high number.
Yeah, I mean, I've previously said on this show that I'm not touching this game because I think Cleveland's going to be live in this game, partly because of the revenge factor, maybe a Super Bowl hangover for Kansas City. The more I've looked into it, though, the more confident I'm feeling about that Cleveland pick there.
Of course, I'm going to take Cleveland there, but I just think that Baker Mayfield, the last half of the season last year, he was in the top 5, I believe, in QBR. Because of Kevin Stefanski. Kevin Stefanski is like the perfect coach for this situation, man, for the Browns. He's a quiet guy. He is very diligent. He goes about his work. He's all about work. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Way less talk in the Cleveland Browns organization this year than in previous years. And so excited about that. I think Baker Mayfield is going to take another step. Last year, of course, almost every team didn't have a preseason, a traditional preseason and been able to get into the rhythm of everything like that. But when you're coming in with a new coach, it's completely different because you don't have that time to work in training camp and everything. And so I think a year under his belt is going to be completely different.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, the Browns kept it respectable against the Chiefs last year, and the Browns defense has improved a lot.
Yeah.
You added, I mean, last year, who did the Browns have on defense that
Miles
scared
Garrett, and that was
you had Miles Garrett and then Denzel Ward, right?
Yeah. But he was injured a lot last year as well.
Yeah, that's all you had. So now you're adding Clowney, you're adding Malik Jackson, you're getting Andrew Billings back from opting out from COVID.
Tack McKinley.
Yeah.
You got John Johnson III from the LA Rams back there at safety. Greedy Williams is going to be on the outside corner.
Is he going to be healthy week 1? I think it's like
it's up in the air. We'll see. I think he's held out this week, but I did read that I thought that he would be ready for week 1. We'll see, but it's going to be interesting to see. I do think that Browns defense, that was like our biggest weakness last year, and they addressed that big time. I would have liked to see them grab 1 or 2 more guys. Maybe they will. The waiver wire and everything like that. We'll see, but I like that. I like that. There's 6 point underdogs. I would take that all day long. I think that Baker Mayfield's going to have a huge year. When I say huge year, I do think he's going to be a top 5, 7 quarterback in the league this year, which we would take all day long.
Yeah, and so while you and I are both on the Browns, I think the public is going to be on the Chiefs, and if I'm correct about that, I think that line's going to move a little bit. I think it could go up to 7, and so if you agree with us and you like the Browns, you might be better served holding out and seeing if that line goes up to 7, because as we've talked about on this show a lot, there's a big difference between a 6-point spread and a 7-point spread.
Big difference, yeah.
Mathematically, no doubt about it.
Yeah, so I'm going to take Cleveland. You're taking Cleveland in that as well with the points.
Yeah, the other thing I'll add about Cleveland real quick is I just think they're a good matchup for the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they had Pro Football Focus best rated pass blocking and run blocking.
Mm-hmm.
That offensive line is good. I think the best offensive line in football. And if there is a formula to beat the Chiefs, it's run the ball and keep that offense off the field.
Possess the ball as well. And so
time of possession.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that. I think they're going to be able to put up a lot of points. I think it's going to be, can the Browns stop them defensively? And if they can stop them, you don't need to, hold them to 10 points to win that game, I don't think. But if you can hold them to 20, 21, 24, somewhere around there, I think it's totally a winnable game. I think we can easily put up 30 plus points on that Kansas City defense. Yeah,
and Chad, the last 4 times these two teams have played each other, Cleveland's 4-0 against the spread.
Dude, if we would just play them every game, we'd be undefeated.
Against the spread, you would be at least.
Spread. Yeah. Next game, very interesting game. Green Bay at New Orleans. That's looking like it's going to be moved to Dallas because of the hurricane. New Orleans is going to their home field advantage is obviously
neutralized.
So they started at 1.5 point favorites actually, and that has gone up to. I'm sorry, and that's changed now to Green Bay being a 3-point favorite.
Yeah, and a lot of that movement, of course, had to do with Aaron Rodgers. There was a lot of uncertainty at the time. A lot of people thought he might not be starting by week 1. We talked about Aaron Rodgers a lot in our Ken Rutgers episode earlier this year, and that line was made at a time with that uncertainty.
Yeah.
Before we start talking about the spread, I got to throw this out there.
Mm-hmm.
The over has cashed 9 out of the last 10 times these two teams have played. Now, granted, that's Rodgers and that's Breeze, and there's no longer Breeze, but the over is 50 right now. 51 is kind of a key number with the totals, and so I think that's worth looking into.
Yeah, I would take that over.
Yep.
I think Green Bay, New Orleans isn't super well known for having a great defense. I think Green Bay is gonna, Aaron Rodgers is gonna light it up again this year. So I could see them scoring easily, 30 points. That's half more than halfway there.
Yeah, and again, this is why we love OddsShark. You can see some 3s on OddsShark, and you can also see some 2.5s.
2.5s. That's a big difference, man.
So obviously, if you like the Saints, take the +3. If you like the Packers, take the -2.5 there.
Yeah, I'm going to take Green Bay in that one there, obviously. Who we got next?
We've got Miami and the Patriots.
Now that game just became so much more interesting with the release of Cam Newton last week, excuse me. Miami and New England, both, Tua's going to be the full-time starter there. Obviously, they got rid of Fitzmagic. So it's kind of, they say he's healthy. We're going to see, if his game translates to the NFL. He's going up against Big Mac Jones, New England opened at, surprisingly, because this game's at home, they opened as 1.5-point favorites. It's now all the way up to 3. You can get it to 2.5 on a couple other, one other site here. If you're looking on OddsShark, who do you like in that game, brother?
I like the Patriots a lot.
Yeah.
You've heard me say a lot today. I lean this way. I'm more than leaning on the Patriots here. I'm going to put a big bet down on the Patriots here. Patriots are 8-1 in their last 9 times hosting Miami. I like that stat. I think Mac Jones is a better quarterback than Tua today. At this point in time, I do, and long term as well. So I like that. The Dolphins' offensive line is terrible. Tua's been pressured on about 30% of his dropbacks, and they've not really done anything to address it. They picked up that dude Skura, who was supposed to stabilize the offensive line, and they've cut him. So you've done nothing to address a glaring weakness. Now you're going up against Bill Belichick. You think Bill Belichick is not licking his lips at that inferior offensive line? He is going to give them fits. And so I could see a Patriots blowout. Now I know Miami has played New England tough historically in the past. Miami's had several upsets of the Patriots, but I just think Bill Belichick has been steaming all offseason. He's been hearing about Tom Brady this, Tom Brady that all offseason. I don't think there's a chance in hell Bill Belichick has 2 losing seasons in a row, and I think he's going to be ready to go in this game. I wouldn't be shocked to see a double-digit Patriots win here.
Oh, wow. And he's going up against former assistant Brian Flores, who's now the head coach of Miami. I'll say this, the turnaround in Miami happened way sooner than I anticipated, and they really haven't had like a legit starting quarterback during this process either. It seems like every move they've made has been good. I didn't really anticipate them being, able to competitive for a couple more years. And so I kind of thought initially when they hired Brian Flores, it was kind of a head scratcher. Looks like it's worked out so far. And they were competitive last year. They made the playoffs. And so it's going to be interesting to see what happens with them this year. I actually think I'm going to take Miami in that game, to be honest with you. I mean, I know it's at New England. But I think Miami, they've made the right moves, and I think it's going to be Brian's going to be juiced up going against his former head coach. I think Tua's going to see. You're going to start to see a little bit of flash from Tua that we saw in college. He had a bad year last year. Still think he was overcoming the hip injury, a couple other injuries he had in college. I think he's going to be healthy this year. It's going to be he's going to be a much better player this year than he was last year. And if that's the case, then I think that they can win the division, Yeah, betting aside, I think it's going to be one of the more fun games to watch. Just again, how is Bill Belichick going to bounce back from that losing season? I'm looking forward to it. I think Miami's defense is a little bit smoke and mirrors, man. They led the league in interceptions. They led the league in turnovers forced. And 10 of those interceptions were Xavier Howard. Yeah. Well, the secret's out on Xavier Howard. Yeah. Quarterbacks aren't going to be testing him like they were earlier. Yeah, they're going to stay away from him. Yeah, for sure. So I think it's tough to replicate that, to come back and lead the league again in turnovers forced. I think I totally agree. That's such a crapshoot. A lot of times it's just a lot of luck involved with forced turnovers and stuff. And so I think those turnovers inflated how good that defense is. I don't think it's as good as some people think. I think they're overrated. Okay, that's going to be interesting to see as well, man. That's a great matchup. So many good matchups on week 1, man. It's loaded. It's loaded. The next one's going to be, I think, even some of these games that you don't think are premier teams, I'm, going to be on the edge of my seat waiting to see how these teams match up, how much they've gotten, if they've gotten better in the offseason, if they haven't gotten better. Start to get some questions answered about a lot of quarterbacks in this league this year. Okay, we're going to get an answer about 2 quarterbacks for the teams that are playing in the next game we're going to talk about. Drew Lock obviously was not named the starter this year. They went with Teddy Bridgewater, and they're going to be going up against they're going to be at New York, going up against the Giants and Daniel Jones. Kind of put up or shut up time for a lot of the quarterbacks, all three of the quarterbacks in this game here. And they the Broncos opened at 1.5 point favorites. It's gone all the way up to 2.5, and that's why you want to go to OddsShark, because somewhere else it's just 1. So from 1 to 2.5, you want to check that out. But I'm going to go ahead and go with the Giants on this one. I don't think Teddy Bridgewater is the answer. And in Denver, we had Benjamin Albright on the show. He kind of wondered. I think he said in our interview with him that Teddy Bridgewater, the most touchdowns he's thrown for in the season was 17. This isn't a guy that lights it up. This guy's not, I think the time he had in New Orleans when he was really good, a lot of that's coaching, how that organization is run, how they have the offensive minds in that organization. And so I don't expect him to duplicate that. And I think we're going to see more of like what we saw in Carolina last year, which is just okay quarterbacking.
Yeah, for me, I'm probably going to hold out and see how Kenny Golladay practices leading up to this. I mean, if he's in all the practices, I'm a little more leaning Giants, but I like Denver here. Denver, the Giants, check this out, are 0-15 against the spread when playing opponents who are traveling 1,500 miles or more to go play them.
Wow.
And so that tells me that whole West Coast teams going east is a little bit inflated. It's a little bit exaggerated in these lines. So that fits this trend as well. Denver's 4-1 ATS versus the Giants in their last 5 games. This is, again, why we love OddsShark. Like you said, Chad, it started off as Denver being a 1.5 point favorite. It's now at 2.5, but there's a 1 out there. Mm-hmm. So a 1.5 point difference in these lines is something that you can take advantage of as a bettor.
And a game that potentially could be as evenly matched as that as well. So
yeah. Let's look at how these two teams ended last year. Denver won 3 of their last 5 games, and their losses were to Buffalo. No shame in that.
Nope.
And on the road to the Chargers, and divisional matchup, okay. Giants lost 3 of their last 4 games, and they were to good teams, but they were also, remember, they were kind of in the division race at that point because the NFC East was so terrible.
Yeah.
And so
I was in the division race too, dude. Sycamore High School was in the division race in that motherfucker. For real.
Yeah. So I like the way that Denver finished their season. A lot of the trends are pointing to Denver. I think Denver had a lot of injuries last year. They're finally healthy. We've talked on this show before about Chubb, about Von Miller, and I think that could be.
Is he going to be healthy this year?
Guys.
That's going to be. Can't wait to see that because that was a guy missed all of last year. See if he can come back and regain that form of a all-pro dominant player in this league. Yeah,
for sure. I think Denver could be a playoff team this year.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, I think it's possible.
That's crazy. With possible. Teddy Bridgewater at quarterback?
I think it's possible. I don't see them going deep into the playoffs, but I could see them being a wild card team.
In that division, too, with the Chargers and the Chiefs?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. I think it's possible.
You heard it here first, man.
Absolutely.
Tony throwing out some.
I know you're going to be the first one to play this back if the Broncos start off 1-4.
Daytona 500 over here. Daytona 500
I got a new nickname out of this show. All right.
Daytona 500 thinks the Broncos are going to make the damn playoffs. Holy shit.
I said I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Did.
Okay.
Yeah. Important clarification.
Yeah.
We'll see how that one turns out.
Yeah. And we already did the Sunday night game, right? So we're going to go into the Monday night game?
Correct. Yeah. Last week we covered the Sunday night game.
Yeah. So
this is going to be a blast.
This is going to be a good game, man. I think it's going to be a good game.
I'm going to be out there in Vegas. I'm going to be doing some of the tailgating. I don't have tickets to the game,
you don't have tickets?
but I'm going to be around all that. Maybe on our TikTok, I'll do some Raiders tailgating.
I hope somebody does, man, because I ain't even logged into that son of a bitch yet. I'll be honest. Don't tell Hopeye. They'll get pissed about that. I haven't messed with that. I bet tickets are pretty expensive considering it's the first time that stadium's going to be open and available. So you can't get like some nosebleeds for $50 or anything like that, right? It's just,
I doubt it. Highly, I haven't looked, but I doubt it for sure. I'll be watching from the comfort of a sports book.
Yeah, I don't blame you, dude. So we got Baltimore opened at 6.5 point favorite, and probably a lot of this. This is why you want to go on OddsShark again, is because when there's a big injury, that line's going to shift big time. They just lost their best running back, J.K. Dobbins, second-year player out of Ohio State
for the season,
the entire season. And they've had a guy that has done pretty well in a backup role. Is that Gus Bradley, right?
I forget who their backup is.
Yeah, it's Gus.
They've got a solid backup.
They call him the Bus.
Yeah,
I know that.
Gus the Bus. Yeah,
in Baltimore. You know what I mean, which is crazy. But Gus the Bus is going to take over the carries there. So the spread has gone down to Baltimore is now 4.5-point favorites all across the board. It looks like here. So, dude, how do you feel about that game? Because Baltimore's obviously they don't have a whole lot of time to prepare. No preseason games really to prepare without their number one running back, Lamar Jackson. People are wanting to know, can he throw the ball? Can he duplicate the MVP season he had a couple years ago? What's your take on this game, brother?
I'm not touching it, and here's why.
Yeah,
my numbers tell me the Ravens are going to cover.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, my math, my research tells me that. My intuition tells me the Raiders at home in that stadium. It's going to be I just can't picture the Raiders getting blown out. I think they're either going to be in the game and
up.
Maybe even an upset. You know what I'm saying? Like I sometimes. You have that intuition as a sports fan. You're like, I've almost seen this script play out before, even though it's obviously not the case. And they've never played in this stadium. I just don't see the Raiders getting blown out. I can't see it. My intuition tells me that. Now, I'm not going to bet on my intuition, but my intuition is going to keep me from betting and potentially keep me from losing money otherwise that I would have bet on the Ravens.
Yeah, I don't blame you, brother. I would not touch that game whatsoever. 4.5-point favorite, that just doesn't do it for me. And I think Las Vegas is going to be juiced up. Opening a new stadium. And we talked last week about meth towns. Shit. Las Vegas is a big time meth town. Those fans.
For people that didn't see last year's episode, how should the meth towns be taken into consideration?
Yeah, so
what's the thought here?
If you're, I'm almost starting to believe this because I've said it so many times and shit. I'm gonna start betting. You're gonna see me start betting it. I'm only betting meth town home teams and shit. Like I'm taking Buffalo and Vegas in like every fucking game this year.
3 points if you're the home team on the spread, and 2 points if you happen to be at a meth town and the home team.
If you're they usually, so this is what it is. Usually in sports betting, they usually get the team, the home team usually gets like 3 points that that can be surmised that's in that equation somewhere. So if the spread's 2.5, it's really 5.5 because they're at home.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So my thinking is that if you're in a meth town, that 3 points goes up to like 5 points. 5.5.
There's like a bonus on there.
5.5 because those meth fans are juiced the fuck up. They're Buffalo, these guys are crashing through tables. The only thing that makes you do that is meth. You know what I'm saying? Vegas, big time meth town. You can go anywhere and get some meth. There's more meth in that town than there is like lonely, desperate souls, which is crazy. That's a lot. You know what I mean? There's more meth in that town than there is people that don't talk to their parents.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, dude. So if I'm betting, you know what I'm saying, maybe I will put some money down in this game, knowing that it's a meth town, knowing that they're going to be juiced up. It's the opening of the stadium.
You're going with the Raiders.
They're still finding out where their little nooks and crannies are where they can go spark up a little meth. You know what I'm saying? They're like, hey, over by section 406, there's a little nook and cranny right over by the popcorn stand and the beer stand. You can just slide right on in there. As long as you just swallow the smoke, no one even knows, Spray some Stetson along in that bitch. They thought you were just freshening it up. The whole time you're smoking meth. They have no idea. You get back to the game, start hooting and hollering, start calling Lamar Jackson all kinds of terrible names and shit, People have no idea you're just juiced up on meth. So I'm going to take the meth town with that and 4.5 points. Yeah, dog.
You just talked yourself into it.
I just talked myself into it. I'm telling you, man, I'm starting to believe this shit. I'm going to start doing this.
I'm staying away. I'm staying away from the meth, and I'm also staying away from touching this game for sure. But I do think it's going to be a blast to watch, and that atmosphere is going to be electric.
So if we're talking about meth towns, then Detroit definitely, there's, 7.5-point underdogs. Hey, man, could be a 4-point game. Big time meth town. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I'm just making shit up, but
I love it. I'm
sure there's some people out there. There's probably some dude listening to the radio like, oh man, I never thought about that. It's a big time meth town. They're gonna be extra juiced up with that new stadium and everything. So who knows, man? That's gonna be such a good opening week.
That
man.
slate.
Damn, I can't wait.
When that schedule first came out, man, I'm just looking at this and I'm drooling, and I've been waiting for it ever since. And we're a few days away.
Few short days away, man. Yeah. Thursday night. What a great matchup we've got Thursday night, too. Dallas and Tampa Bay. Couldn't be happier with that matchup. I'm super excited about that. Can't wait to see Tampa Bay. Can't wait to see Tom Brady back on the field. See how Dak Prescott's healed and has how his rehab's gone. He had he was limited a lot in preseason this year and in camp because of his shoulder and everything like that. Hopefully there's not any lingering issues that part of his body's trying to make up for it. You see injuries in other areas. Hopefully we had a healthy season from him. I know I got a lot of Dallas Cowboys fans that are friends, and I know they're hoping for the same thing. But I think that's going to be a good game, man. I think, both teams, I can see Tampa Bay come out a little hungover, a little, hanging on to last year or whatnot, and Dallas jumping on them early a little bit. And then I think you'll start to see Tampa Bay kind of start to control the game. Their talent will start to win out, and I think that they will. Dude, 7.5 though, that's a lot of points, man. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's where that teaser comes into play.
7.5.
If you're like, I know the Bucs are going to win. I can't picture Dallas winning, but it could get a little gnarly at the end. There could be a backdoor cover. Dallas scoring real late. I like the Bucs money line. Like
7.5, man. Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, I could see them winning by 10 or 11 or 14. You know what I mean? I could totally see that. So,
yep.
What a great week of games we've got set up here this week, man. It starts on Thursday, dude. What's up?
Going to be a blast.
Oh, yeah. Before we go, let's tell everybody about a couple of our sponsors here. We're talking about BetterHelp. That's HELP. As we said earlier, we're super proud to announce that the DNP-CD Sports podcast is now sponsored by BetterHelp, and that's Better HELP. There's something interfering with your happiness in your life. You're getting tired. A lot of times, you get to a point where you're just tired of being upset. You're tired of being stressed. You're tired of being sad. Take control over it, man. This isn't something that you can't fix. You can go seek help. You can talk to somebody. This stuff helps immensely. These are professionals. It's not just like having a best friend that just listens to you here and there and kind of re-emphasizes what you think you already know. You know what I'm saying? They're professionals. They're going to tell you and teach you how to help yourself. And a lot of times with these professionals, man, their goal is to get you out of therapy. They don't want you to be there for 10, 15 years. They want to give you the tools so that you're able to handle these problems on your own in the future. That's why BetterHelp is so awesome, because they will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist. And you can start communicating in under 48 hours. You're like 2 days away from helping yourself and a whole new you. It's not a crisis line. It's not self-help. It is professional therapy done securely online. As Tony mentioned, they have a broad range of expertise available. So whether you're going through like a loss of a loved one, a breakup, stress at work, anything else. I mean, there's a multitude of problems that people can suffer from. No matter what it is, man. Today's a new day. Let's start working on ourselves. Let's try to get better. You deserve better too. Life is short. You don't want to go through life sad and upset, anxious or anything like that. Help is available, and it's very affordable. The service is available for clients worldwide. You can log into your account anytime and send a message to your therapist 24 hours a day. You get timely and thoughtful responses. Plus, you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions so you won't ever have to sit in an uncomfortable waiting room as with traditional therapy. And they've got the worst magazines in those waiting rooms. It's always like Psychology Today. It's like, I don't know this shit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
You know what's nice too, Chad? They've got such a wide range of therapists. So if you're like, I'm more comfortable with a woman, I'm more comfortable with a man. Yeah. Or like you said, the areas of expertise. I want someone that has used to working with someone who's gone through divorces. I want someone that is used to, working with someone that's, closer to my age. You go to a therapist office down the road from you and you might have like 5 or 6 to choose from if you're lucky. Here they've got such a wide roster. We'll use a sports term. They've got such a large roster because they're such a big company. You've got a lot to choose from, which is nice.
Yeah, especially if you're in a small town, this is a great resource, man. You only have a couple options, and all those people you went to Little League with or something like that, you don't want to be telling them your problems. Check out BetterHelp, because you can talk to counselors worldwide, therapists worldwide. BetterHelp is committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches, so they make it easy and free to change therapists if needed. It's more affordable than traditional offline therapy, and financial aid is available. BetterHelp, that's HELP, wants you to start living a happier life today. We read some of their testimonials and everything like that. You can go to their website, betterhelp.com/reviews. and you can read all the reviews from people like you and I that have used BetterHelp and you can see how it's impacted their lives. And we've got BetterHelp is getting so popular, in fact, that so many people have been using BetterHelp that they are recruiting additional therapists in all 50 states. And we've got a special offer for our listeners. If you go to BetterHelp, that's HELP.com/DNP, that's did not play, you'll get 10% off your first month. Great deal, man. It's already more affordable than traditional offline therapies. Now you're going to get an extra 10% for telling them that you heard about them on the DNP-CD Sports podcast.
You take that 10% that you saved, you roll it into a teaser with the Buccaneers and Washington for week 1, and you're sitting pretty.
Or you do what I said, and you take that 10% that you just saved, you put it on a meth team at home Bang.
Raiders.
1, you're solving your mental health problem. 2, you're rich. You're living the high life, dude.
I love it.
You're living the high life, man. So go to BetterHelp. That's HELP.com/DNP, and you're going to get 10% off your first month. Lastly, but not leastly, the company that sponsors our show that we just read all these lines off of. And speaking of help, you're going to get a lot of help if you go to oddshark.com. Check out all their spreads, all the lines from all these different sites and everything like that. A lot of people don't know that the lines change on all these different sites. They're not the same across every site. Mm-hmm. So if you go there, you're going to get the best number. You want to make sure you're getting the best number. As we've articulated through our last segment, those numbers are different. You know, it's a big difference.
Well, they're different from each other. You got to shop around, but then they also move. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, if you're betting, you got to keep a close eye on these things.
This is the time of year when you've got OddsShark open on your computer, and you're just hitting refresh every day, every morning. You're checking it. You know, a couple times a day. You want to check it and make sure.
Every time you're sitting on the toilet on your phone.
Hey, yeah. When you see J.K. Dobbins just got hurt, go to oddshark.com, hit refresh, find out what the line moved to across these sites, you know. And if you find that out early enough, maybe the lines haven't moved yet, you can hurry up and get a bet in real fast. You know, That's a great idea. So OddsShark is your source for the latest odds on leading authorities, expert or editorial content. That's something we didn't talk about this time. Is go there, read their articles, man. It's not just numbers and stuff like that. They got articles from awesome writers that are going to break down the sport, break down the matchup for you. You can feel more confident going into to making your pick. They've got the hottest sports news and detailed matchup picks. So if you're looking for statistics and trends for an upcoming game, OddsShark has that too, and it's free. They're they give you in-depth expert analysis, stats, numbers, and trends to help you make the sharp game day picks. Whether you want to check out tonight's football odds, this week's hockey or basketball trends, or anything in between, head on over to OddsShark and start thinking like a shark today. That's ODDSSHARK.com. Go-to resource. That's where we get all of our numbers from. And I don't place a bet without going there first and make sure I'm getting the best number.
Absolutely. And like I said before, this is the week. If you never used the website, this is the week to check out oddshark.com. Enjoy week one,
this
everybody.
This is so awesome. I was just about to say, but next time we're on here, we will have seen week one. It's going to be an awesome week. Cannot wait.
We might look a little trashed and hungover because we didn't get sleep and, you know, we've been partying, watching football.
I'm just going to look fat as hell. I might have a permanent Cheeto ring around my mouth. You know what I'm saying? Who knows? Maybe some mustard on my shirt, some shit. Maybe some spaghetti too. You know, I like to switch it up. Hit all, continents when I'm eating food and stuff.
There you go.
But yeah, make sure you check out our sponsors, betterhelp.com/DNP for 10% off. OddsShark, ODDSSHARK.com. Also, make sure you give us a follow. You can follow us on all social media platforms. If you're listening or you're watching on YouTube, that's probably on your screen right now. We are at DNP-CD Sports across all platforms. Give us a follow. Tell your friends about the show. Comment.
Thumbs up if you're watching on YouTube.
Yeah.
Subscribe if you're listening on iTunes, Spotify, etc.
Yeah, tell us if you disagree with any of our picks, if you disagree with our top five, if you disagree with Daytona 500 over here, if you don't think that's like legit.
I got the NASCAR fans on my side, baby.
Yeah, let us know, man. Tell us about it. You know what I'm saying? Another thing we didn't mention real quick is my Michael Bolton t-shirt, man. I just got this.
Oh,
man.
yeah. I like that.
You didn't even notice it, did you?
I wasn't sure what was going on over there. I didn't see the words Michael Bolton because the microphone was blocking it a little bit.
Look at all that sugar neck right there, man. That's a sexy man right there, dude. He looks like a golden retriever or some shit. A fucking golden labradoodle or some shit. Like a blonde.
Yeah. That's another reson to tune into this show for those of you watching on YouTube. Chad always has some great t-shirts. We had the Alf t-shirt earlier this year. Van Morrison.
Yeah.
And
dude, I just had a shit ton of them made, so nice. I get these specially made, you know what I'm saying? Because you can't buy these in stores, I got these specially, because no one has weird enough taste like me. I can't find you know how hard it is to find a Michael Bolton t-shirt, dude? I scoured the internet for a Michael Bolton t-shirt. It was impossible to find. So I just want to say to Michael Bolton, if you're listening, you are losing out on a shit ton of money, dude. I would have bought at least like 2 or 3 t-shirts, probably for my whole damn family. I'd have bought my son a onesie, a damn bib and stuff. And I can't find them anywhere. Michael, come on. Bolt. Let's go, dude. Another little known fact about Michael Bolton. Did you know he had his own celebrity softball team too?
I saw that post on our Twitter page. I didn't know until you posted that, but yeah.
Bolton's Bombers. You know, he was batting cleanup, even though he was like probably batting like 197 or some shit.
I just want to be in the room. I want to be in the room with him and, you know, his handlers when they came up with that idea.
What's even funnier, real quick, is that he also had an instructional softball DVD or VHS at that time. It's hilarious.
This is why you got to follow at DNP-CD on all social media, but especially Twitter, because Chad finds these gems that are just ridiculous. And we had people reply like, "This isn't real, right?" Oh, it was real.
Oh, it's real.
Oh yeah.
It's real, and I'm going to buy that damn thing if I can find it anywhere. Another opportunity Michael Bolton's missed out on, man. I would buy that instructional softball DVD like that if it was available. You know that thing's funny as shit. Somebody out there has it, you know what I mean?
It's got to be good.
It's definitely good.
So outdated.
Yeah, it's so awesome, dude. And then he thought like, hey, I should make a celebrity softball.
That's why I said I want to be in the room when they were like, hey, we should do this. And he's like, that's a great idea.
Yeah. They were like, hey, you want to work on a new album in which you steal everybody's songs and everything? He was like, you know, and don't write any of them. He was like, you know what? No. Let me get into celebrity instructional softball genre here. You know,
beautiful.
We'll do a new album. We'll do Time, Love, and Tenderness Part 2 next week. You know, right now I want to teach everybody about bunting and softball and shit. You know, so
love it.
Yeah, man. So make sure you give us a follow at DNP-CD Sports on all platforms. We're gonna be back next week to break down all the week 1. We might have a guest on as well. We're gonna break down all week 1. Looking forward to week 2 as well. It's gonna be a jam-packed show from here on out, brother. There's no more speculation. Now we're gonna have some cold hard facts to deal with going into the rest of the season. So exciting.
Wait. Enjoy week 1, everybody.
Yeah, for Tony.
Soak it up.
For Tony, I am Chad. We'll see you guys next week. Peace out.
Thanks for listening. You can find more episodes and all of our other Hot Pie Media originals baked fresh daily at our home online at hotpiemedia.com, the Hot Pie Media YouTube channel, or wherever you listen to podcasts.